of anything about politics was through
No,
you.
So just to recap here, Tony walks into Maher's podcast as a proud Trump guy, gets embarrassed for being a Trump guy, then pleads with Maher that he only became a Trump guy because of Bill Maher. I mean, that's got to be one of the weakest Uno reverse cards in podcast history. And at this point, Maher just flatly tells him, look, it doesn't matter if you're a Trumper or not. I'll still have you on my show, but stop trying to pretend you're something that you're not.
I don't want to like pat myself on the back and say, no one else could do this. But I do want to ask the question, why can't anyone else do this?
All right, guys. So I'm going to be reacting to Kyle Kulinski's video on Tony Hinchcliffe. I guess the title of this is that Bill Maher humiliated Tony Hinchcliffe, right? Trump-loving Rogan sphere humiliated by Bill Maher. Well, Bill Burr too. But look, is he Trump loving? I don't think he loves Trump like that, you know, or even Joe Rogan for that matter. But I think it's just the appeal of bringing a whole new audience, you know, a bunch of conservatives to listen to him, because he already has, you know, liberals and stuff like that. Like, he has those people. Like, it's not like some of them stopped listening to him or watching Kill Tony because all of a sudden he likes Trump. A lot of people like Trump, but you know, it's not gonna stop him from, like, you know, having a show on Netflix, right? Sometimes he's been canceled for saying some racist things to one of his employees, but he apologized. These guys try to, every time if they get something from you, they push it, they stretch it out and make it more than it actually is. But you know, because I say that because of the show that Tony Hinchcliffe does, and that's Kill Tony, right? And on Netflix, funny enough, like, he brings in Shane Gillis, he brings in Kyle Dunnigan to play, you know, the modern day controversial characters that we see now, which is Elon Musk and Donald Trump and RFK, you know, and he makes fun of them, right? If he was super Trump loving and all that stuff, he probably wouldn't, you know, put up the same energy to sort of roast them and embarrass them. And these comedians reference things that they have done and have, you know, arguably, you know, done terrible things to the U.S. citizens and American people and also around the world. But they try to, I guess, you know, dramatize things because they want you to, I don't know, have this angle, you know, this hate maybe towards them. I don't see it that way. I can see a couple of guys that like Trump, and I wouldn't pin them down as to being super, you know, to the extreme, right? But we're gonna play this clip just right now to give you guys an intro of how I kind of feel about it. You know, I make fun of Tony, but I just make fun of the comedy, and you know, and I laugh about it. It's not all the time I'm gonna be all sourpuss and I'm gonna be hateful. Like, Tony has some good things. He's also a great comedian himself. He's known for roasting and making fun of people. But I feel like I listened to a little bit of this, and I feel like I don't know, Kyle doesn't get the comedy that well, but he explains it with more politics, and you can only go so far with politics without explaining the comedy aspect, right? But anyways, we're gonna start the video right now.
So do you guys remember Tony Hinchcliffe? He is a Rogan sphere comedian, and he made waves recently when he was at, Jesus, that's Stinky's got her squish toy behind me and it's making weird noises. Anyway, he was at Madison Square Garden, and he did the Trump rally, and he very famously made some jokes that got some pretty big headlines. So he said something about there's a floating island of garbage in the ocean, and he said, I think it's called Puerto Rico, said something like that. And just had a bunch of jokes that were, I don't know, less jokey and more just like, tee-hee-hee, racism, tee-hee-hee, yay.
Okay, this part right here, I think, you know, I can understand what he's saying, but there's also the side of where Tony Hinchcliffe, like, also, like, defends this point and saying that you guys are just saying that Puerto Rico is a floating. Puerto Rico itself is like a floating piece of trash, you know, a garbage landfill, right? He was referencing, which is a real thing, a freaking pile of garbage there, right? And yes, to some, you know, because they want to, you know, give him the benefit of the doubt already to say that, yeah, he's a racist, or like he's trying to be edgy and stuff like that. No, like, it's a reference to a real life thing. Maybe you should address that too, while you're at it, right? Which they do, right? But it's also, that's the reason why he said the floating pile of garbage. I think where you or anybody else will, kind of sort of examine that and analyze that and say, well, obviously he's referring to Puerto Rico because it's a garbage island, right? Like you're assuming yourself already without kind of maybe understanding more of the nuance of what it actually is, right?
Just like almost trying to be offensive for the sake of being offensive. Like, it's one thing to just tell jokes that are offensive but also funny and like intelligent. That's one thing, but you just...
Okay, this is also, I sorry to pause this, but dude, have you seen Kill Tony? Have you seen Tony Hinchcliffe's comedy? He always be trying to push edginess. One small Tony Hinchcliffe step at a time, right?
It's almost like the purpose to somebody like Tony Hinchcliffe is like, watch me say the thing I'm not supposed to say, bro. I did it. What are you gonna do, bro? You gonna catch me, bro? And it's just so tired now. Like, it's just so tired. Like, we get...
Look, Kyle, I've seen you for a while. You're little dude playing somebody else, bro, and this and that. Dude, you do the same thing. Come on. You do some cringy shit too. You try to be funny here, and I listen to it sometimes. Sometimes you're funny with that. Sometimes you're not good with it, but you take your shot and you keep moving, right?
Get it? Oh, look at you, Mr. Edgy Boy. You said some edgy things. Oh my God. So anyway, he after that, his name was tarnished a little bit because now, as I always say about Rogan, these people are not like George Carlin or Bill Hicks. They're much closer to just like Rush Limbaugh than they are to them, right?
Look,
like,
also, I don't know what that even means because Tony doesn't go up there and start talking about politics like that. I don't know what the hell is he talking about, saying that, they're not George Carlin, brother. I don't know how you brought that out of your butt. I don't know where that came from. I never heard Tony say, you know what I think what he's trying to say is, we probably seen a clip of Joe Rogan saying one of his favorite and his most influential comics, stand-up comics out there is George Carlin and that other guy he's talking about, right? The guy looks like Alex Jones, right? Dude, I don't know where he comes up with this shit. Like, they're not really speaking about politics most of the time, and when they are, they don't know shit.
Those people were witty and incisive and intelligent. And yeah, they'd say controversial things and offensive things, but there was always like a broader point being made, and it was always like true or roughly true. But with Rogan and his people, it's just like, I'm right wing, bro. And the left is stupid, bro. Are you laughing? Are you laughing? Are you laughing? So anyway, Tony Hinchcliffe got it.
The problem is that if they probably had a podcast, all these stand-up comics that you do like, if they had a podcast, maybe, in the long run, you're not going to like them either, right? That's the problem with having podcasts and having an extended show, right? You kind of show off more of who you are. Some people might not like that. And it seems like with Joe Rogan in particular and all these other dudes, having podcasts has kind of like sort of tainted people's image of them, right?
Got invited on Bill Maher's podcast, Club Random, and this really did not go well for him. First of all, Bill Maher, as you all know, is the smuggest man alive. Super fucking arrogant. And Tony Hinchcliffe is also super smug and super arrogant. And this was like a disaster waiting to happen. Because the dynamic here is Bill is smug and arrogant and also kind of clearly doesn't like Tony in the sense that, I don't know, I think that he thinks he's kind of hacky. Maher hates the fact that he's as pro-Trump as he is.
Look, also, here's another problem, too, with Bill Maher, right? Dude talks so much shit all the time about him, and then we hear that he goes on this, I guess, this dinner with him, right? And, I mean, I don't know why they always try to resort to Bill Maher. Bill Maher is like the type of guy they kind of go back and forth whenever, like, he becomes the hero and then the villain, the hero and the villain. It's like Piers Morgan, Once in a while they're gonna be like, well, this guy, his politics, they're so fucking stupid. But when he says something, like, you gotta hear it because like even Bill Maher himself is sort of confused about his own politics, and eventually these are gonna just start talking shit about him again. For example, the meal that he went with Trump, and Larry David made a whole little short story about it, saying that, oh, you dined with Hitler. But I digress.
And so you get this like older comedian who doesn't give a fuck and doesn't particularly like the guy he's talking to. And then Tony Hinchcliffe is like desperate to get the approval of Bill Maher, which, by the way, also is immensely sad in its own respect. So here we go. Let's watch, and I'll have a lot to say.
Comedians really, they'll just talk shit on a podcast, or they'll pretend like, me and Rogan and everybody in Austin's a bunch of Nazis and all. You just have to agree with everything they say, or you're not part of the club and all this crap.
That is absolutely true.
Okay, look, there's parts of it that, what Tony said is ridiculous, right? It's like Theo Vaughn saying, like, I used to know, what's his name, David, what's his last name? David, like that neo-Nazi guy, right? That guy, and he was like, I used to work out with him, right? But I never hung out with him, right? I was at the gym with him or something like that. And like also, like, we're also another problem that does seem to happen is that I think Kyle thinks that, Tony and maybe Elon Musk, they're always just hanging together. They're best friends or something, right? And even Joe Rogan too, like, and there are also problems with that too. Is like, you're not going to be always hanging out with these controversial. I don't hang out with controversial people. And that's because I don't know anybody like famous enough to be controversial, right? These guys are their own, like, their own class, right? And we as regular citizens of, how we live, we don't interact with Joe Rogan or Elon Musk or Donald Trump. These guys do, because they're influential and they know, and probably greed or some sort of a reward comes with it if they just bend the knee, right? Like somewhat in a sort of way like that, right? Trying to be an asshole about it.
Look, I'm a guy, I've been on Rogan 5 or 6 times. It is absolutely true that they have this hermetically sealed right-wing bubble now, where the only way you get in is if bro, the college kids are so woke, bro. Oh, Trump triggered the libs, bro. Oh, the media is lying again, bro. To pretend like that's not a thing. Of course it's a thing. Of course it's a thing. God bless people like Anthony Jeselnik, who roast the shit out of the Rogan sphere. Tim Heidegger. Heidegger? Is that? I think that's how I pronounce it. That guy too. Like, it's so funny too that this guy,
look,
he is.
I would agree on that. They haven't sold out like these guys. I say, Tony, Joe, I feel like they sold out. They sold out for the money. And Tony Hinchcliffe, the reason why Tony took the same direction as Joe is because they've been friends for such a long time, and Tony, I think he sees Joe as like a father figure in comedy and a mentor, right? So, I mean, that's understandable, right?
The roast master. And apparently he can dish it and shit on everybody. But God forbid people point out something true about the Rogan sphere of comedians. It's, oh, bro, you guys are being so unfair, bro. Oh, my God, my feelings. Don't care about your feelings. Not in the slightest.
Being a Trumper isn't, what you're calling a Trumper isn't that crazy. I mean, he did win the popular vote.
That doesn't mean it's not crazy. That does not. Those two things are not.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so for those of you who don't know by now, Tony Hinchcliffe just appeared on the latest episode of Bill Maher's podcast, Club Random. And right away, you could tell Tony came in with only one goal, to impress Bill Maher. But the interview quickly went off the rails as Bill Maher realized that Tony's a hardcore Trump supporter.
You should tell me. I'm very curious. Your reputation now is as a right winger because you did the Trump rally and told the Puerto Rico joke, which is a great joke.
When I got there, I go, when am I going up in this thing? And
Guys, we're all smoking now. I guess I got to go in.
they go, you're up first. Can you imagine?
Oh, you opened. You opened for the Trump rally.
I went up after the goddamn national anthem.
But
Bill
did you
Maher.
do it because you're a supporter of Trump or just because it's an opportunity and a paycheck? Was it a paycheck?
No, it wasn't a paycheck. I did it literally to hopefully, get some, hopefully, if only 10,000, not to mention 100,000, maybe 200 if we're lucky, actual.
Okay, what he's talking about is what the young kids call is clout, right? He wants clout. He wants more influence. He wants followers. they didn't have to pay him. Most people that do this sort of public service, they get paid with views, right? The later comes the money comes later, Lebowski, right?
People to vote for him.
Oh, so you did want people to vote for Trump?
Yes,
Oh.
without a doubt.
Okay.
I think he gets a weird rap in this world, man. And yeah,
I wonder why. The guy wears tanning, solution. Seems to have the weirdest haircut. Does not know how groceries work. He's like, oh yeah, you gotta have your ID with you so you can get some milk and eggs. Like the man, I know that this is the part that I don't like about Tony and these other guys in the Rogan sphere or the Republican comedy sphere is that they're lying to themselves because they're greedy. I think that's just my opinion about it.
you know,
We're going to have to break off on that point. You know, my thing, I talk to everybody.
Yeah.
And it's okay that we disagree on that. I just didn't really know until this moment I thought maybe you just were,
This podcast is I can't stand this fucking podcast. Bill Maher still has the mindset of like a college frat boy. It's like, don't mind me, bro. I'm just going to smoke some weed over here, but it's whatever. Yeah, I smoke weed. No big deal, bro. Huh. See, I'm just mixing my drink. It's whatevs. I'm just being a dude doing dude things, bro. Mixing my drink. I drink alcohol. Did I mention I have sex too?
Brother, you're smoking a vape. What are you talking about? I know he's trying to be funny though, but I mean, the pot caught in the kettle black here, my friend, you know?
Bro, I like sex. I'm never getting married. Being married is whack. Like, it's just, he oozes weird insecurities.
I just didn't really know until this moment I thought maybe you just were doing it for a gig and because you believe in free speech, but you're not really a Trumper. But, you know, I mean.
So
So Bill Maher is trying to give him an out to like be a character that he would find more sympathetic, right? Like, oh, Bill Maher looks at a guy who voted for Trump and doesn't really follow politics closely, but feels like the left is too censorious. And I think Trump supports free speech. I guess I support him tepidly, even though I don't agree with a lot of what he says. Bill Maher.
Yeah, that's called fence sitting, brother. And he does it because Bill Maher, to some extent, and even Tony, they have limitations to the bullshit, but they know that they're supporting him right now because of the taxes and stuff. Right, like that's another reason why he moved to from California to Texas. It's not because like, oh, California is like too woke or whatever. No, it's because California has a high, percentage that you have to pay in taxes, and these guys make a whole lot of money in 1 day, 2 days, and they don't want to evenly distribute their money. Which I'm not trying to say like, oh, communism or whatever, but in a way that, hey, like I want to get the full benefit, right? But there's at a price, and that's teaming up with one of the most controversial presidents and also one of the most, somewhat, some might say most publicly corrupt presidents out there. That's just my opinion though, not a fact.
Is okay with somebody like that. But if you're actually like a rah Trump guy, then he's like, ooh. Right? And so he tried to give him an out, and Tony did not take the out. And he was like, yeah, I love Trump and I voted for Trump.
Realizing that Bill Maher isn't exactly vibing with his political worldview, and maybe even looking down on him for it, Tony Hinchcliffe suddenly goes into full-blown damage control mode. And in Tony's case, that means pulling out the wildest, most revisionist spin you could imagine. Because with a straight face, Tony tries to argue that he, Joe Rogan, and even Elon Musk are not far-right figures, which Bill Maher immediately shuts down.
and this is the thing, because I would argue that we're more center than left or right. I think you'd probably be shocked to know how at least from my perception, centrist we are. I've been watching you for my whole life, by the way. My mom always made sure we had HBO, even though I was raised poor. So I kind of get you, and it's crazy that I'm considered a right-winger.
I can't with these fucking people, bro. This is
Look, here's the thing, though. I wouldn't say... Well, you know what? I would agree with it. He's trying to be center. But Tony's trying to be center. Tony and Joe, right? I would only agree on that part, but Elon and all these other, I mean, you wouldn't line yourself with being with these guys if you think that they're honestly, like, fuck, what does Trump think he is, dude? Like, who you following? What's your party, bro? like that's the thing though. Like, you're not center. You're not. You might think you are, but you're following a guy that has very sort of super capitalistic views and policies, and lack of regulations, and to make the most money, and kind of like sort of also distribute the power of the president just to one person, right? Forget the checks and balances, and like you can see all these other things. You kind of like, in a way, yeah, like you, like Tony and Joe a little bit, they're sort of trying to blind themselves from actually hearing what Donald and his cabinet are really about, and that's like kicking out the immigrants, and adding like fucking just chaos. It's a lot of stuff, like I don't want to just keep going. I'll just carry on the video.
Such hack shit. You literally opened a Trump rally and just said you wish you got like up to 200,000 people to vote for him because of what you said at the rally. On what earth can you do that and then turn around? Me, bro, I'm like a centrist. I'm not even right wing, bro. He even mentioned Joe Rogan and Elon Musk. Elon Musk is literally illegally hacking into the treasury, stealing everybody's data, and cutting all of the government agencies that regulate him and his businesses. He's taken $38 billion from the government. He cut pediatric cancer research and Meals on Wheels. He cut the anti-scam police, the CFPB. What, like, not only is he right-wing, he's like the most committed, crusading right-winger who's trying to destroy the regulatory state and the administrative state and every government agency that does anything good, like the Department of Education. Get rid of it. Illegally. Destroy it. Unconstitutionally.
Yeah, how is that being in the center? You're removing all these programs that taxpayers, put their money into. They pay for, right? And Social Security and all that other stuff, right? I did a video on that with the Tony Hinchcliffe one, where Elon is trying to sort of misrepresent, or maybe just I guess ignorance or foolishness. Like, he just thought that all like a whole bunch of dead people were still in the system and they're getting benefits or something like that. But like, to one point, like what point, like what does it even mean to you to be a center? What does that even mean to you?
We're not right wing. We're just, the world's richest man, robber baron, billionaire, criminal, who's illegally destroying government agencies, slashing them on a whim. He's not right wing, bro. If that's not right wing doesn't exist. Joe Rogan endorsed Donald Trump, gave him a hot stone massage on air. Of course you're right wing. I can't, man. All right, I need to get this concept through to people. There is your nominal politics, so what you...
Okay, look, this is also another problem, too. It's like, oh, yeah, Joe, you should have grilled Donald. You should have just grilled him, cook that man. What do you... like, how do you want Joe Rogan to approach the podcast, It's like Donald's going to be like, oh, Joe... I was going to give you this because you're a big guy. I always wanted to do this with you. And now you're coming in all nasty, giving me these terrible questions. It's like, and then he's going to walk out. Like, of course, Joe Rogan wants him and he's going to glaze him like a donut, right? But this guy thinks like, oh, yeah, get Kyle Kulinski to interview Donald Trump. It's like, no, dude, like, and even if you did do that, camera's going to just shut off. Like, you got to have some, you got to be, like, there's some people that can rizz up Donald, I'll be honest with you. There's some people that can, like, sort of, like, Daddy Dom over, like, Daddy DeMarco ass on Donald Trump, and, like, he kind of is like, oh, you're such a, like, what a great looking guy. He could work in Hollywood, like, what he calls it? Yeah. Central casting. Oh, straight out of Central casting. Like Newsom, for example. I mean, that's how I feel. Like, I think Newsom is like, hey, you talking about all these fires because our fire hydrants couldn't reach the trees. Or the fucking, like, I was like, and then he never really mentioned it, like, about, like, all that shit that he talked about. But anyway, I'm just freaking on a tangent now.
Say your politics are, that's one thing. Then there's what I call your effective politics, which is how it manifests in the world. You could go out there and call yourself a centrist. Shit, you can call yourself a left-winger, an anarchist, a communist, whatever the fuck you want, socialist. You can say whatever you want. But at the end of the day, you do nothing but spew right-wing bullshit and get people to vote right-wing. You're a right-winger. Your effective politics are right-wing politics. I hate this fucking, me, bro? I'm just a, yeah, I support Adolf. Who doesn't support Adolf? But, like, I support him really, like, centristy, you know? That's what I'm saying, bro.
Yeah, I like his policies, his socialistic policies, and the cool clothes that he had on during wartime, and you know they had some style back then, dude. You know, Ralph Lauren, pretty good.
That Rogan is, or that Elon is, and these
Well,
people.
anybody, I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
anybody who is a Trumper, it's a different mindset that, you know, he'd have to be extremely different to get me over there.
Right.
And he knows that. I mean, a lot of this stuff is just way too insane and too far out.
So as you just saw here, Bill Maher did not let that nonsense go unchecked. And that's where the tone of the whole conversation changes. Because you see, Tony thought Maher was going to embrace him. He thought they were going to fist bump over hating cancel culture and ride off into the sunset as edgy truth tellers. But instead, Maher drew a line with Tony, basically saying, you can be a Trump guy, that's fine, but don't sit here and act like that isn't what you are.
Okay, but like,
You know, being a Trumper isn't what you're calling a Trumper.
I think the thing is that they have to get down to more of like the nitty gritty kind of politics, and like, okay, do you support that Elon did this? Do you support that Elon did that? And if Tony responds to it like saying, yeah, I don't like what he did there, or yeah, I don't like that, like I don't agree with him all 100%, right? Then we can give him a little bit of, you know, I guess some space there. But so far, I don't know. I haven't seen also like the podcast to see if maybe they went further into like sort of the policies or bills that, you know, they do like, they don't like, you know, like to really understand like, oh, this guy Tony is really, or you know, a MAGA or super, you know, conservative or whatever, not really centralist.
Isn't that crazy? I
Yes,
mean,
it is. Yes, 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 it is. The people who support Trump are either out and out fascists or they just like his vibes and overlook the fascism. Both of those things are not acceptable at this point in time. We're talking about a guy who killed an
everybody overlooked everything. I mean, dude, like Trump says whatever. Everybody gets tricked by that guy, you know? The people that are like, no, like since day one, I thought this guy's bullshit, you know? Like I knew that. Like I don't believe anything he says. I always think he's gonna do something. He's gonna do it, or he's gonna try to do it. But also, it's like whatever. Like I can't do nothing about it. Like, but I already know that whatever he does say, it's like he is saying it. Like he's not messing around there, and everybody kind of tries to like underplay it or try to like degrade what he actually says and say is like, oh no, Trump just being Trump and like just over exaggerating things and being a character. It's like, no, that's your fault then. Like you already see his character and how he is. Like how can you be like, for the I don't know how many times like he has lied to you and he's done the exact opposite, or like he's never fulfilled anything. Like how many times has that happened? It's like you can see it. It's like Trump is the most like freaking like person that they've like captured on you know, media and had like a lot of press on him. So there's so much like footage on Trump, you know, and there's some footage of Trump with, you know, Epstein, his best friend. So you guys know like this guy, and that's also part that also kind of annoys me, is that these guys always talk about that shit, but like, hey, what but also who's your favorite president that was also his best friend? Yeah, we don't talk about that, you know.
Increase in overtime pay for millions of people. He killed the $15 minimum wage for federal contractors that Biden put in place. He opposed the PRO Act. He opposed a minimum wage increase. He destroyed the NLRB with anti-union assholes who are going to destroy working people in this country. Like I said, they destroyed the CFPB. He outsourced 200,000 jobs in his first term. He killed 115,000 factory jobs in his second term by freezing funding for the IRA, the Inflation Reduction Act. His tax bill raises taxes on the bottom 95% and cuts them for billionaires. Like, we can't fucking play this game anymore, bro. There is no more this. It's not that crazy, bro. The guy tried to steal the 2020 election. He tried to overturn. He did the fake elector slates.
He was kidding. He was playing around. He wasn't serious. Come on, Trump never really meant that. You think Trump told everybody like, oh, go down to Congress and make them stop the count or stop the proceeding from happening, you know? Oh yeah, go after my vice president. Yeah. You think he's gonna say that? Come on, guys. It was all just like, it was in jest, you know. It was just like, he was just talking shit. He was mad, you know. He lost, so he was like mad. He was venting.
He was charged with 91 crimes. On what planet can... Bro, it's like not a big deal, bro. It's not that crazy to support the guy.
Here goes again. Bro, you think he's being serious?
Who, in his first term, 2.3 million people lost their health insurance? Yeah, it actually is. It actually is a really fucking big deal.
I agree, Kyle. Okay, Kyle, I agree. Kyle looks like he's about to throw something at you.
A huge deal. And now we're at the point, everything is so clear, and every decision he's made in his second term is so bad that, yes, there's no more room for the, bro, I supported him and I voted for him, but I'm not like that, bro. No, yes, like that. 100% like that. Because all these people, too, like, what? Nothing was a red line for you. Even like 2 days before his inauguration, when he launched a scam crypto coin on his own supporters, that wasn't a red line for you? It wasn't a red line for you when he talked about we're going to steal Greenland, we're going to steal Panama, we're going to go to war with Iran, we're going to bomb the drug cartels and...
Hey, but is he doing it, though? Is he doing it? Canada was like, stop right there, bud. You know, Canada's not for sale, you know. Go back, you hosers. You know, it's like... And then he had the prime minister or the governor of the governor of Canada is here. But it was also, I think I think it was kind of more awkward because maybe he thought Trudeau was gonna still be there, and he's like, I kind of made you the prime minister, you know. He's like, well, we'll see we'll see if Canada's still up for sale later. He's like, Canada will never be for sale, sir. Oh yeah, that's how he talks, right? Oh, Canada is not gonna be for sale, sir. Is that Canadian? Is that more Canadian for you?
Mexico, regardless if the Mexican government agrees to it or not. None of these things, nothing was a red line. Nothing. How about rounding up innocent people, 90% of them innocent, sending them to a slave labor gulag in El Salvador without even a fucking hearing? That's not, if none of those things are a red line for you, then you're just a fascist. I don't know what to tell you. And you can't do this shit like, yeah, I'm a fascist, but like centrist-like. I'm a centristy fascist. Like, fuck you.
He did win the popular vote.
That doesn't mean it's not crazy. That does not. Those two things are not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
That's fine. Look, you've been talking to me for what, an hour and a half?
Yeah.
Do I seem like a guy who hates you because you voted?
No, and I'm the same way.
And I never will
That's
be.
why I think
Exactly.
you're, believe it or not,
whatever
a
you're going to say,
centrist.
I am.
I think
He's like, yeah. You think I hate you, dude? Come on, dude. I like you, dude. That's why I brought you on the show, dude. Come on.
Oh, I am.
Yeah.
I am. I'm
And
center
I think
left.
I am too, believe it or not.
I am. Well, I am.
Oh my God. This is what podcasts have become, y'all. The podcast era cannot die fast enough.
Center left.
What, Kyle? What are podcasts to you? It's just talking about politics and shit like that with your wife or just by yourself. Come on, man. You're sounding like guy dubs. Is this what podcasting has come to? Just a guy and another guy talking about their politics and saying, no, you're wrong.
To me, a Trumper is far right. There are old school Republicans. They are hiding right now, but they do exist. That's center right. Trump is different.
And this is where it gets kind of sad, because you can actually see Tony start to squirm, because he realized that Maher's not buying it, and now he's desperate to claw his way back into the man's approval. So Tony doubles down, saying again that he, Rogan, Elon, and Trump are all centrists, as if repeating it enough times will make it true. But Maher, again, is not biting.
And since I moved to Texas...
Oh, because you're not in LA. But,
exactly.
but you're in LA sometimes.
Sometimes. But what I've learned is that, especially after the rally election debacle
Sure.
and everything,
Right.
is that the farther left, even though they don't make it their identity or maybe talk about it on stage or whatever, the farther left people, comedians really, they'll just talk shit on a podcast or they'll pretend.
Your whole thing is talking shit. You're the roast comedy guy. And now all of a sudden talking shit is bad when it's a left-wing comedian who does it? God, I can't stand these people. Oh, I cannot stand these people.
Oh, shit.
Jesus Christ. No self-awareness.
Wait, is that what he said? Let me see.
There are old school Republicans. They are hiding right now, but they do exist. That's center right. Trump is different.
And this is where it gets kind of sad, because you can actually see Tony start to squirm, because he realized that Maher's not buying it, and now he's desperate to claw his way back into the man's approval. So Tony doubles down, saying again that he, Rogan, Elon, and Trump are all centrists, as if repeating it enough times will make it true. But Maher, again, is not biting.
And since I moved to Texas...
Oh, because you're not in LA. But,
exactly.
but you're in LA sometimes.
Sometimes. But what I've learned is that, especially after the rally election debacle
Sure.
and everything,
Right.
is that the farther left, even though they don't make it their identity or maybe talk about it on stage or whatever, the farther left people, comedians really, they'll just talk shit on a podcast or they'll pretend.
Your whole thing is talking shit. You're the roast comedy guy.
Okay, now I heard what he said, but like, is he saying I don't like it? Or is he just saying, oh yeah, like there's people on the left or even farther left that make fun of it? Like, yeah, like you ever heard of Red Band, you know? Or no, Red Band. You ever heard of Red Bar? Yeah, Red Bar. My bad, Red Bar.
And now all of a sudden talking shit is bad when it's a left-wing comedian who does it? God, I can't stand these people. Oh, I cannot stand these people. Jesus Christ. No self-awareness. Zero self-awareness.
Like, me and Rogan and everybody in Austin's a bunch of Nazis and all. You just have to...
Well, Rogan was out there defending Elon Musk's multiple Zig Heils and saying, bro, he's just like autistic, bro. Don't be ableist by saying he did Nazi salutes. And by the way, those Nazi salutes, they didn't just come out of fucking nowhere. Elon is a guy who had been replying to actual Nazis on Twitter, saying to them, you have told the actual truth.
Yeah, that part is like, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, yeah, because, dude, like, he has to deflect from it, because it's just super obvious of what it was. And they got, and so they had to be like, no, man, like, come on, man, he's got the tisms. He's got the tisms and the tismed, and he did the Roman salute, okay? That's what he was called back then, okay? Nah, man, he said, my heart goes out to you. He was being sincere. He did it twice because that's how much heart he wants to give to the people. You serious, bro?
There's been tremendous evidence for a long time. The dude is a flat-out eugenicist. He was raised in apartheid South Africa. To him, it's like, yeah, that was based. So, but of course, Rogan has to fucking cover for his billionaire asshole buddies, horrifying politics. And so he ended up humiliating himself trying to do it. But now you get angry when people say you're Nazis. Well, maybe don't defend the guy fucking Zig Heiling on stage multiple times. Oh my God.
Agree with everything they say or you're not part of the club and all this crap. Meanwhile, again, it's like we're all pot smoking, pro-choice. If you're going to call us far right crazy people, you have to realize we're all formerly registered Democrat voters. And so is Rogan, and so is Elon, and so is Trump.
Key word, former. Not current. You just said how much you love Trump. Everything Trump is doing is flat out fascist and a robber baron coup. But I used to think this, and I used to... You're just a fucking Republican fascist who also likes to smoke weed and thinks abortion is okay. Whoop-de-frickin' do. Congratulations. You think you're special for that reason? You think that makes, oh, therefore all my horrible opinions get a pass? No.
Kyle was like really mad. He went off. He's going off right now, dude. Chill, Kyle. Like, he just was like, we're just cooler conservatives, you know? That's what we're centered, because we like weed and like we like to drink and we like to hunt. You know, like the traditional conservatives, dude, they were just like, they were lame. They were like more close-minded. Like, we're a little bit more open-minded, and we used to be what you guys used to be. So we understand your side. We get you guys. We used to be you guys, right? That's what it is? And then Kyle's like, how dare you? How dare you say you were us? Now you betrayed us, and you're poisoning us. Like, come on, Kyle, just chill a little bit, bro. I know you needed this clip to go a little bit long, and you know, monetization is very important for you, brother. But come on, brother, got us, you know, crashing out here, man.
Oh, fuck off.
All these people are famously old Democrats.
Okay, but that's not where we are now. They're not Democrats now. And I understand why the Democratic Party gives them the heebie-jeebies.
Bill Maher has like the kid gloves on for this guy. It's kind of funny.
That's different than being all in on Trump, which they are.
Then Bill goes on to clown Tony a little. He points out that he actually got a sit-down dinner with Trump, while Tony, the guy who opened for Trump at a rally, didn't even get a handshake.
Yeah, because Maher also is a cuck. He's doing this thing now where he's like, who, me, bro? I'm just a cent.
Bill Maher will take his chance to, you know, dine with the person he always talks shits about. And, you know, like, what is the point of that? You know, it's like, are you trying to change his mind about it? Are you going to go over there to have that dinner and be like, you're a piece of shit, Donald? You know, like, dude, come on. What are you doing? Like, let me put some sense into you, dude. Like, you're being all corrupt and you're being an asshole right now. Like, also legalize weed, dude. Come on. Like, you probably get some more people on your side. Right? Hold up. I'll pause this. Be back.
I just like having reasonable conversations, bro. Like, you're never going to get me to stop talking to people, bro. We got to stop hating each other, bro. But you know that's bullshit, because Maher hates people to his left. Maher shits on what he thinks are the far left all the time. So he's fine sitting down with Trump. He's fine having a drink with Trump with shits and giggles and chuckles that they have. But would Bill Maher sit down with somebody to his left who's a critic of his? No. He famously doesn't even allow anybody who made it on the internet, he doesn't allow them onto his show because he looks down on them. So I'm all about conversations, unless it's conversations with people to my left. The idea of like, you can't criticize that I visited the White House and ran cover for the Trump regime. Of course we fucking can. Because it's bullshit. The idea of I talk to anybody is such bullshit. Is Maher running to have a conversation with a serial killer or a child rapist or a Muslim fundamentalist or a Stalin-defending communist tanky or some former friend of his who betrayed him and stole money from him and stole his girlfriend, or a violent paranoid schizophrenic or a cult leader? There's a million people you wouldn't fucking talk to, but you do talk to Trump. And the reason you talk to Trump, because you actually do kind of agree with him on some stuff. Don't you, Bill? Don't you, Bill?
Well, no shit, because he's rich and it benefits him. So like it was the same thing with Tony. Like they're to some extent they're in agreement with, yeah, like I could make money off of just talking about Trump, and Trump probably is like, yeah, you know, I understand you, but I like, you know, Bill, you're a funny guy. You know, like I guess they get along that way.
Oh, the wokesters are so bad, bro. The pro-Palestine people actually love terrorists and love Hamas, bro. So he tries to downplay his power level of, is like, oh, I don't support Trump. But you functionally helped him. They played you like a fucking fiddle dog when you went there and you helped them so that they could turn around and go, even liberal Bill Maher says that Trump is okay, bro. So this is a little bit ridiculous on Maher's end, too, because he's trying to, oh, how could you support Trump? You just helped the motherfucker, even though you're too stupid and narcissistic to realize it.
When I was going in to do that rally, the goal, you know, it wasn't just to swing a few, you know, 1,000 votes, hopefully, of whoever listens to my podcast or whoever liked my silly performance on the Tom Brady roast or whatever. It was also to fucking have the president go, that was cool. Thanks, man. That's awesome. I liked your set. You got the crowd going.
This guy's got to have daddy issues. He's got to have daddy issues. I just wanted approval from Trump to say, hey, man, that was really cool, man.
Which, by the way, I did. Of course, that room isn't mic'd for
Did
a
he say that all
comedy
that to
show.
you?
No, he didn't. I didn't get to talk to him that day.
Tony, you must feel so bad about that. You go and you're for him and you're working for him and you like him and me, nothing but vitriol for 10 years and I get the invite.
Isn't it wild?
I mean, that one must have hit Tony right in the core.
Ooh, yeah, that's rough. Trump actually totally disavowed him. You remember? Trump was being interviewed. He's like, they got this comedian saying bad things about Puerto Rico. I don't know him, never heard of him, don't want to hear from him, don't want to meet him. Oh, man.
Tony probably thought that
Yeah, that's part of the reason why he probably heard some bad some headlines and he was like, oh, this guy's disgusting. He's making Trump look bad. That's not what I represent. You know, it's like that.
that Trump rally was his moment. Like he was going to roast the libs, kill with the crowd, and be welcomed into Mar-a-Lago with open
And by the way, even the Trump crowd was like, ooh, at a bunch of points. He tried to cope over that. Actually, they were laughing. It just wasn't, the room wasn't mic'd to hear the laughter and stuff, bro. Please. We heard like groans at times.
arms. But according to Maher, Trump didn't even notice him. And to my delight, the awkwardness doesn't stop there. Later in the conversation, Maher casually asks Tony if he watched his latest comedy special, and Tony straight up says no.
But man, it was a game changer for me. The comedy specials absolutely 100% contributed.
My last one was the best. Have you seen my last one?
No.
Oh, I'm not going to watch yours till you watch
These guys are all so washed.
mine.
Okay, deal.
And then Tony immediately tries to recover by saying that Maher's been his hero since he was a kid, and that he learned his politics from him, and that everything he believes today stems from watching Maher on TV.
Oh my God. That actually is so low-key devastating against Bill Maher. Because Bill Maher has been trying to do the I'm the enlightened centrist shtick. But meanwhile, here's a guy who idolizes you and looks up to you and agrees with your politics, and he was fucking doing a rally for Trump and telling people to vote for Trump, which proves our point about Maher. That, you know, there's what your nominal politics are, where he says he's a center-left guy, but functionally he's creating more right-wingers with the shit he focuses on, the shit he talks about, the shit that animates him and motivates him.
Why didn't you watch my last one? If you're
I don't
such a-
watch anybody's specials on TV.
you
I like
know,
seeing
I
them
can relate.
live.
I can relate to that.
I see enough people live to
I
where
can relate.
I like
But
waiting.
you would like my last
Oh, I'm
one.
positive I would. I'm not kissing your ass. I've been a fan forever. I mean, you know, all my initial politics and everything.
I'm not kissing your ass, but I'm a big fan of you, and I love everything you talk about and your mindset and your politics.
Of anything about politics was through
No,
you.
I
So just to recap here, Tony walks into Maher's podcast as a proud Trump guy, gets embarrassed for being a Trump guy, then pleads with Maher that he only became a Trump guy because of Bill Maher. I mean, that's got to be one of the weakest Uno reverse cards in podcast history. And at this point, Maher just flatly tells him, look, it doesn't matter if you're a Trumper or not. I'll still have you on my show, but stop trying to pretend you're something that you're not.
I don't want to like pat myself on the back and say no one else could do this, but I do want to ask the question: why can't anyone else do this?
This is so stupid. Of course, there are left-wingers who will talk to Trump people. Pisco has been doing 1,000 debates with Trump people, but that's the point. They're debates, Bill. It's, hey, we really disagree fundamentally on a lot of core issues, core morals, core values. I think you're really wrong, horrifically wrong, and you're fascists, so let's duke it out. That's how you engage. This weak fucking bullshit where you talk to these people and you pretend like they're not as insane as they are, and you serve their propaganda purposes by pretending like they're more reasonable than they are. That's the problem, Bill. And this is what you're creating. You're creating a bunch of fucking Tony Hinchcliffes.
Seen that many, I'll say that many people, like just talking to somebody else who, yes, may be a Trumper.
I can't. This is how many times have we heard this? On this podcast, bro, we like to have conversations about having conversations. We like to talk about talking because we're heroic for talking, bro. That's what we are, bro. Oh, they're so self-aggrandizing. They're so self-aggrandizing. They should probably both go get some ribs removed so they can suck themselves off, because that's really the vibe of everything these guys say. Oh my God, the podcast landscape has to die, bro. The new media landscape is embarrassingly stupid. I mean, these people are at the point now where they're making mainstream media look like superstars. This is just fucking low IQ drivel.
Have you seen Hassan Piker's shit happening recently? That new media guy? I got stopped by the TSA or whatever, and they asked me about what did I do for a living. Do you talk about politics? Like, yeah, they're telling me they're questioning me like if that was their job, And like, yeah, Kyle is right though, but to some extent though, because these guys are just comedians though, right? They're the question for some, or the thing is that you have to realize is that, or maybe you have to accept that some people do or are influenced by these comedians and how they think. Just like, yeah, like how Tony said, like, yeah, I look up to you, like Bill, like you're what I try to he's like kind of said, like, I want to become you, right? Like, in a way, because I was influenced by you. But yeah, he came in pretty strong. Tony Hinchcliffe came in pretty strong with a vibe, trying to seem like he really likes him.
Oh, we like to talk about talking and have conversations about conversations. And I'm against Trump, but hey, it's cool if you're not, bro. It's cool if you're not, bro. I can't. Go away. Both of you, go away. Hey, y'all, do me a favor.
So yeah, like, I think Tony did come off a little strong and as a fanboy, but regardless though, at the end he was like, I'm not gonna try to lie to you and say like I did watch your comedy special, right? I don't watch anybody's comedy specials. It's not personal. Like, I'm not trying to, don't try to take it personal. Tony doesn't like seeing other people's comedy because it might mess up him, right? Like, it's sort of like a mental thing, right? And Bill, like, I guess maybe he's trying to like sort of save face a little bit and say like, I came in kind of strong, but I was kind of like, he was kind of curious about who Tony was and why did he like, or why does he like Donald Trump, and like, also how he thinks that their politics really are. And yeah, like, there is some cope and on both sides, which I would like to say, because like how like the video pointed out, like right in the end, like Bill was also saying like, damn dude, like I always say terrible things about him and he invites me to this dinner and you always be kissing his butt, and he like disses you, and he says like what a terrible person you are, and like how your like your comedy or your statements when at the rally was horrible, and he called you a horrible comedian. It's like, damn bro, you really fumbled it there. Look guys, I'm gonna end this video by saying also that I think where he kind of like, Tony kind of says he's centrist is because he also makes fun of Donald Trump, and he makes fun of Elon, and he's in center, right? I don't know, like, I don't know, maybe he is upset a little bit of the left is making fun of him for it, because he's like, you guys don't understand, it's not like that, right? But it's, to them, that's what's gonna be. And you also, that's your comedy, and it's also like, you're throwing, you're throwing rocks at a glass house, and you also live in one. Quite easily your house will get fucked up too, right? Like, dude, don't be a hypocrite. It's also, I guess, maybe another part of the video that they're kind of mentioning. It's like, with these two guys talking shit to each other, is like one guy is like trying to be like, hey, like, Bill, I love you, dude, I'm a fan of you, and Bill's like, dude, you're horrible. What your politics are horrible. But anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think about this. I just wanted to react to this. I didn't know it was gonna be this long. Like and subscribe, comment down below. Let me know if you guys want more of these videos. Probably do like little like sort of like really long versions of this to react to some things like these. It was kind of fun. I think I got like in the middle of it, I kind of gassed out, so apologies. But anyways, like and subscribe again. Bye bye.